Okie dokie, welcome back. Hour two, just breezing right through here. We're expecting my buddy Michael Wilson right now, celebrity whistleblower attorney, host of The Whistleblower with Michael Johnson, ESQ. I got to tell you, I was talking about it on the break with my Facebook audience. Everyone, thank you for being there. Thank you for the haters. Thank you for the lovers. Thank you for the support, the shares. We need more sharing, and sharing is caring, because that's how we break the Facebook algorithms. And last week we were in the thousands of viewers. Now they're catching on to us, and the shares are cutting down, so we're in the hundreds, and we're barely breaking into the hundreds. But it's going to happen. I'm sure of that. I'm not worried about it, okay? But I could use some sharing. A number of people, and I got to tell you, the first person was my buddy John McNamee. He's down in Texas. He's a great patriot, okay? Follows the show as often as he can. A number of people have asked me to personally be their proxy, their ambassador, to make a donation to the guys from Mac's Pub, okay? Now, Mac's Pub is this bar restaurant in Staten Island who's come under attack by Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio, who are nothing but a pair of mobsters. They're a pair of mafia kingpins, and they're shaking down these small business owners all over the country. But right here in New York, in Staten Island, guess what? They name one half of Staten Island an orange zone where you can't have indoor dining. You know what half of the Staten Island that is? That's the part that voted for Trump. And the other half of Staten Island that voted for Joe Biden, they could still have indoor dining. So they basically blacked out half an island. These guys got caught up in the wash. And you know what? They're opening their bar and their restaurant every single day. They got their liquor license revoked. They're opening the door. They're serving free beer and free food. And you can come in and make a donation to try to help them fight this and get through it. They declared the place, Mac's Pub, an autonomous zone, and they're not letting the government or the state in, and they don't deserve to be in, because this is tyrannical leadership. So, you know, if you want to make a donation, if you want to support some guys who are really supportable with all the scum out there in this world, these are two guys. One of them in particular is a city worker who put his life, his savings, his blood, sweat, and tears into opening a little neighborhood place, and they are under attack. So you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm going to try to set up something where we can put out like a virtual tip cup during the show, and I'm going to make sure that all that money gets into Max, because we need guys like that. And, you know, years ago, you can look this up if you want to have a few laughs, okay? When this whole Occupy Wall Street movement was going on, you know, Occupy Wall Street, they were in Zuccotti Park, they were protesting, they're trying to shut down the New York Stock Exchange. Me and my brother Derek, we exercised our First Amendment rights, and we actually blocked them from coming down to the stock exchange, okay? And we called our counter-protest Occupy a Desk, because you people got time to sleep in parks, and you people got times to rally, and you people have time to be out there urinating in the streets, and you people have time. There were rapes going on in Zuccotti Park, and they got time for all this. Maybe if they spent a little of that time looking for a job, they could occupy a desk, and then they wouldn't have time to go out and destroy our beautiful city. But I digress. I may decide to occupy a pub with my buddies over at Mac's Pub. I'll keep you posted on that. But lots more important, I think there are a tremendous amount of class action lawsuits that are going to come flying out of all these supposedly magic vaccines that just came out. And, you know, there's a lot of concern right now, even with the NFL, for those of you who are still watching. And to break this stuff down and help us see through the noise and catch the signal, Michael Wilson joins us, celebrity whistleblower attorney, host of The Whistleblower. Michael Wilson, see it on Apple, Roku, Hulu. He's a senior political strategist, SCOTUS attorney, journalist. Mike, you got so much vast subject matter expertise here. I had a class action attorney pre-interview yesterday, and he was talking about how they're doing the magnifications on these PCR tests 40 or 45 times. The industry standard is 17, and that's a big reason why these false positives are coming up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's no perfect science. I mean, this is a new virus. Listen, you know, really in the U.S. here, it hasn't even been a year yet. So I think there's a lot of skewed data out there. And what, you were referring to before there about the COVID vaccines. And, this is what I do. There's a lot of fraud going on. I think there will be some fraud within these vaccines, and the whistleblowers are the ones who are going to help root out and flesh out this fraud. And when I say fraud, I mean not fake tests, not vaccines coming from Canada that you can buy on the internet. I'm talking about the actual trials that occurred. From the various companies, because some of those studies can be powered to meet those primary endpoints. So we'll have to see. I mean, you want the vaccine for protection, but at the same time, vaccines have side effects. Look, you take aspirin. Aspirin works great for thinning the blood, but it has side effects. It causes gastrointestinal bleeding.
So there's a lot of reasons why, a vaccine could take 5 years to 20 years because, introducing these type of things into the human body can cause a lot of side effects and, unintended consequences for different types of people, different sizes of people, different colors of people, right? There's a lot of different genetics in our human race that I kind of started feeling like, wait a minute, they came up with this vaccine like a week after the election. That sounds shady to me as a former stock market guy, right? Like they didn't know they were this close a week ago. There's some shadiness. And then
I agree with that. And I'm a Democrat and a liberal, and I was like, something just doesn't smell right there.
Right. So, you would think if the president I think gave Pfizer like $2 billion in subsidies to go for this moonshot with the warp speed, right? You would think there would be daily concentration on updates. What's happening? How are we doing? What's happening with our couple $1 billion? How's the test group going? And you want us to believe that a week ago, none of those correspondences said, hey, I think we got this. And just 7 days later, all of a sudden, they have a 95% efficacy. It stinks to high heaven, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a little bit of suspicion there on my part too. Listen, a week after election, when they came out, they believe it was Pfizer came out with results literally 1 week, and I was like, wait a second here. I'm like, I know how these. I was once a pharmaceutical rep for Bristol Myers Squibb, and I know how these trials work. And I was like, wait, they didn't have this data before. One thing I will say for President Trump is, his Operation Warp Speed, which his administration did implement, has brought back now supposedly great results. Now, the thing about vaccines is that they may be effective, but how long will the immunity last in these vaccines? And so that's a big concern. The other thing which you touched upon is the side effects. We still don't know in certain populations what the side effects will be. The one thing I will say, because I get tested all the time, and one thing most of the healthcare workers say is the one commonality they see in this COVID pandemic is diabetics are the ones suffering the most. Unhealthy can survive, healthy may die, but diabetics are suffering the most. And so, did they test that diabetic population group? I mean, how much, did they examine that data?
Right. And you know what? Like how many people in the test group? There's I think 43,000 people in the group. How many of them were diabetics? And then how many of them were diabetics that got the placebo? So we start getting into this really smaller and smaller concentrated group of people who actually got the thing. And they're, it may not be as diverse a group as you would typically want. So, I hate going down the conspiracy road, but I did do this homework myself. A couple of the Moderna execs have worked in the past for Anthony Fauci at the, National Allergy and Infectious Disease. And he has actually named himself on some COVID patents. This isn't conspiracy. Some of the Moderna patents have his names on them. Does that make you feel a little more shady?
Yeah, it does. Listen, I was once a big pharma rep, a top rep for Bristol Myers Squibb. That's how I got my start as a whistleblower attorney. BMS settled with the DOJ in 2007 for $515 million. So I'm very familiar about what goes on. I have other cases against that I've settled against Medtronic and Biotronic and other unsealed cases. And the reason why I bring this up is at BMS, there were certain executives who implemented these kickback schemes, okay? and they went on to different companies. And as I tracked them, a lot of those other big pharma companies also committed fraud, right? And this is taxpayers' dollars right here.
Yep.
So same with Fauci and Moderna. What's the relationship here?
Sure.
And you just kind of get into it, like how deep is the web?
All right. Well, listen, we need to have you back, man. I don't know where we found you, but we're not going to lose you. You were great, and we need more of you. We need a healthy weekly dose of your commentary. If you're up for it, we'd love to have you back.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Michael Wilson.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, my friend. We'll have you back soon. Mike, make a note. Let's get Michael Wilson on again ASAP, okay? All right, you guys out there, don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up the show we've never wrapped it up before because I got some other great things that I want to end with a flurry here. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back after this.